All right. Welcome back to part 13. Let's go ahead and continue where we left off. This is the elimination method. Now, you have two equations. You have your original equation number 1 and your original equation number 2. And I've put parentheses around the y variable because we know what the value of y equals. It's equal to 2. Now you choose which equation, 1 or 2, you're going to substitute the value of 2 for y. Okay, choose which one looks easier to solve for you. We're going to substitute and solve for that missing variable. That is our step number 3. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, so as you can see here, I thought it'd be easiest to use original equation number 1. So I substituted the 2 for the y variable. Again, since y equals 2, you can do that. All right, let's go ahead and simplify by multiplying, right? Order of operations, are there any parentheses? Well, there's a parenthesis here, but there's nothing I can do inside the parentheses. Are there any exponents? No. Can I multiply or divide? Yes, I can multiply. 2 times 2 gives me 4. Now, this is a two-step equation. It takes 2 steps to get the variable x all by itself. What is the first inverse or opposite operation that you would take? Well, if you said you're going to subtract 4 from both sides of the equal sign, that would have been correct. One at a time, I'm going to eliminate terms attached to this x. So the 4 is attached through addition. I do the inverse. The opposite of adding is to subtract, or the opposite of a positive is negative. What I do to one side of the equal sign, I got to do to the other side of the equal sign. 4 minus 4 is 0. I'm left with 3x equals, what is 16 minus 4? 16 minus 4 gives me 12. And of course, you can see that right here. Now I'm left with a one-step equation. 3 times what number for x would equal 12? Well, 3 times what is 12, right? That x represents a real number. 3 times what number would equal 12? And if you're struggling with that, let's look at the inverse operation in order to get x all by itself. Let's check it out. All right, so the opposite of multiplying 3 times x is to divide by 3. That's our inverse operation. But what you do to one side of the equal sign, you gotta do it to the other side. You gotta balance your equation. 3 over 3 is 1x. X is all by itself. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now we're not done yet. We have a value for x, we have a value for y, but we're still not finished. What's left? We have to do this with systems of equation. What do we need to do next? All right, so just like I mentioned a moment ago, x equals 4, we have a value for x. Y equals 2, I have a value for 2, but we're not finished yet. We need to check our answers and verify that these are the values for x and y. By the way, I put these values inside parentheses, and they look a little different. They look like a coordinate point for graphing. I'm going to graph this equation. I'm going to show you how to graph these two equations to show you a solution when we conclude with solving using inverse operations. Stick around. All right, as you may be well aware of by now, you must check your answers with systems of equation. Step 4, substitute your x and y values into both original equation 1, original equation number 2. So here's original equation number 1. I'm going to substitute the value for x, multiply times its coefficient, 3. I'm going to substitute the value of y, multiply times its coefficient, 2. I'm going to add those together. One side equals the other side of the equal sign. I know that's a solution, but you got to do it to both equations. What does that look like? Let's check it out. All right, x equals 4. I'm going to substitute a 4 for x. Y equals 2. I'm going to substitute a 2 for y. And order of operations. Any parentheses? Yeah, but there's nothing inside I can do to simplify. Any exponents? No exponents. Can I multiply or divide? Yes. 3 times 4 is 12. Plus plus. 2 times 2 is 4. Equals 16. What's 12 plus 4? Hey, that is 16. Does 16 equal 16? Yes, this answer checks out. So far, x equals 4 and y equals 2. Now let's substitute it into equation number 2. Okay, let's substitute those x and y values into original equation number 2. So x equals 4, I'm going to substitute a 4. Y equals 2, I'm going to substitute a 2. I'm going to rewrite the equals and then the 4. Now, order of operations. Are any parentheses? Nothing inside I can do to simplify the parentheses. Any exponents? No. Can I multiply or divide? Yes. 3 times 4 is 12. A negative 4 times a positive 2 is a negative 8. Equal, equal, equal. I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to bring down my 4. 12 minus 8 equals 4. Equals 4. 4. Does 4 equal 4? Is that a true statement? Yes, that checks off. So x has got to be equal to 4. Y has got to be equal to 2. Thank you for joining me in this part 13 video. Stick around in part 14, 15, possibly 16. I'm going to show you how to graph these two equations to find the exact same solution. So since you're familiar with these two problems, graphing, if you have a hard time with graphing, may be a little bit easier if you follow me through these next few videos. Math is easy. Thank you for joining me. Take it step by step. If I have helped you, please help me to help others. Thank you for your time.